All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. We've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, we've got a couple updates on Hadi Choopan. Hadi, as you guys know, was 2019's third-place Olympia champion. Also, he won the People's Choice Award at last year's Mr. Olympia. He is prepping for this year's Olympia, and first he posted this physique update here, saying that this physique update is 2 months old. He says, "I am very serious in workout. I want to win the game. Let's go." And then a bunch of positive emojis there. So 2 months old, not really a whole lot that we can tell from a picture that's 2 months old or from a video that's 2 months old. It's not really that pertinent to someone that's 6 weeks out from the Olympia right now, because 2 months ago he would have been like 14 weeks out. So Hadi Choopan in this physique update, he looks good. He looks like he's in good shape for 2 months out. He's very vascular in his legs, and that leads me to believe that that leg picture that we saw of him recently was in fact recent. He's extremely detailed as far as his serratus and his abdominals are concerned. He's always had really deep, detailed abs, and his serratus muscle's always been crazy. He's got vascularity all throughout that side of his body. His waist looks a little thick, to be honest, in this update. But again, 2 months out, it could be any number of things. It could be water. He could have ate a big meal that day. Not entirely sure. But he did post this physique update for whatever reason. He decided to post one that was 2 months old. Now, we do have another update from Hadi. And this has been the thing that is kind of a persistent problem with Hadi's bodybuilding career as far as it comes to competing in the United States. Getting a visa. He's going to need a visa to compete at the Olympia. He needed one last year, and even last year it was a stretch. 2020, even more so. So he posted this status on his Instagram story regarding his visa. So he says, "Update regarding my visa status. I have no new visa till now. I have to do an interview with the U.S. embassy officers, and all the embassies and consulates are closed, except in the UAE. But again, I have to get a UAE visa, which seems to be very difficult nowadays. I am not sure whether I can get it in the right time. Just pray for me." So it really does seem at this point there is a possibility that Hadi cannot get over to the States to compete in Vegas in December. So even though he's qualified, even though he is one of the best bodybuilders in the world, and even though he deserves to be there, there might just be factors that exist outside of his control that are going to prevent him from doing that, which I think would be extremely unfortunate, because I think Hadi is certainly one of the best bodybuilders on the planet right now, and he deserves to be in a bodybuilding competition where they're trying to figure out who is the best of the best. And if one of the best is not there, it makes it difficult to really say that the person that won is the best. And I just said this in the last news video, that as we get closer to the Olympia, even though we've got this crazy list of names right now, Cedric was talking about possibly being out of the Olympia because he has these injuries or whatever's going on with Cedric. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that as we get closer to the Olympia. We're 6 weeks out now, and I think that list is going to get smaller and smaller as travel restrictions or whatever extenuating circumstances prevent people from being able to get there. Just like we're seeing with Hadi, and Hadi was third. He was top 3 last year. He is one of the best of the best, and if he can't get there, there's going to be others that are going to run into similar issues. But best of luck to Hadi. I definitely hope that he gets that visa, because I think he is deserving of being on that Olympia stage this year for sure. Now, next up in the news, let's talk about this upcoming Romania Muscle Fest Pro Show, which is a qualifier for the 2021 Mr. Olympia, and that show is this very weekend. So one of the biggest names up until today that was doing that show is Regan Grimes. Regan Grimes is definitely looking for redemption after Europa, after last week's British Grand Prix. He wants to get that win. He wants to secure the victory and go to the 2021 Mr. Olympia with a qualification very early on in the season. So he's not stressing and competing down to the wire like he is this year for this year's Mr. Olympia, which he is now qualified for from points. So Regan put out this posing video. This is peak week for him, just days away from the competition. He got a back posing video here. And up until today, I would have thought that Regan would have been a guaranteed win at this Romania show, because he was really the only big name that I knew of that was jumping in that show. So Regan looks good in this video, but he is not the only big name that's going to be jumping in this Romania lineup. Lionel Beyeke, who we have not seen in a while step on stage, he's been saying on Instagram for months that he wants to get back to competing. He is apparently competing at the Romania Muscle Fest Pro. I don't know how long he's been prepping for that show. I don't know how ready he's going to be, because you've got to consider the fact that Regan has competed twice prior to this Romania show, so he's already in shape. He's been prepping for a while. and he's in the midst of his Olympia prep. Lionel, who is someone that has always struggled with conditioning, it's interesting because we don't know how long he's been prepping. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. And for someone that's always struggled with getting in shape, I wouldn't think this would be a super beneficial prep for him, the fact that it seems like it was a very last-minute decision. So we're going to see the battle of Regan versus Lionel. And I guess you could say this is unofficially official because I have not seen Lionel actually say this. But again, I'll point you to the Buys and Tries Instagram page. And they say, breaking news. So guess who's competing at the Romania Muscle Fest Pro? That's right, it's Lionel Beyeke. Just found out from AJ Kelly Robert that Lionel will be challenging everyone on the stage in 3 days. Lionel is a fan favorite. I don't recall anyone saying that they don't like his shape, structure, or appearance. That's facts right there. He's got really great structure. He's got really great shape. He's got a really small waist, very round muscle bellies, kind of reminiscent of a Phil Heath or a Kai Green in the roundness aspects, but much more aesthetic than either of those two. The conditioning is the only problem with his physique. Only comment I remember is about his conditioning and that it could be better. Well, Lionel has been going through some tough times, especially since the end of 2018 through today, as he prepped for 2 different Arnold Classics but couldn't make it to either of them. But I assure you, the pieces are now falling into the right place. I sincerely hope that we get to see his true potential on stage this time. Now, speaking of physique updates, James Hollingshead, who has got to be considered one of the favorites going into this year's Mr. Olympia to crack the top 10 based on his recent placings and his back-to-back victories, qualifying for 2020 and 2021 Mr. Olympias back-to-back. He's got every bit of size to hang with the top Olympia competitors, and he's also got the conditioning to hang with these top Olympia competitors. So he posted this physique update where he's got his trademark graininess under that really perfect lighting. That lighting is perfect for his physique. And really brings out the detail. But I did see some rumors that there was a possibility he might not do the Olympia, but it looks like in the caption of this, he says Olympia prep. So he says hashtag road to the Olympia in the caption there. I'm hoping he's talking about the 2020 Mr. Olympia. It is true that he qualified for both this year's and next year, so maybe he's just going to skip this year's Mr. Olympia and go straight into next year's. But I would love to see him do this year's Mr. Olympia. But if not, that's up to him. I think he could really make a significant splash at the 2020 Mr. Olympia, especially with that conditioning that he's been bringing. But shout out to James. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think James is going to do the Olympia or not? Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, this could be really bad news for Strongman fans. As you guys probably know, this weekend is scheduled to be the 2020 World's Strongest Man competition down there in Florida. Now, apparently, day 1 of competition at the World's Strongest Man has already been canceled due to the weather, due to inclement weather conditions. So they say Shaw Strength's quest for World's Strongest Man title number 5 will have to wait a little longer. Due to inclement weather conditions, the World's Strongest Man competition will not take place today. So that's an interesting wording there. I hope that it does continue and the weather does go on, but I don't know how bad of a setback missing a day will be. So the competition will not take place today. We are continuing to closely monitor the weather and working with the Holmes Beach Police Department and local authorities to prepare for various scenarios as the situation continues to develop. Please stay tuned for updates. So I guess there's like a hurricane moving through the area right now, and it does not bode well for the World's Strongest Man competition. Now, I mean, this was posted on their official Instagram. Hopefully it's not postponed again because, as you guys know, the World's Strongest Man competition this year was already postponed to where it's at now in November. And we've already had several guys drop out or not be able to compete because of, different circumstances. And Brian Shaw, this is like one of his best shots at getting that number 5 title. That would suck for him. For sure, if this competition doesn't happen, I think there's a possibility that it doesn't. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you did enjoy the video. And if you have not subscribed already, as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.